Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Charlton Chronicles. As you can see, I'm back at the helm tonight. We will obviously thank Tyler shortly when I speak to him. Although he's tried to nick my job. As you can see, we are joined by Paul, Sid and Steve, Tom and Tyler, another full house. So, Paul, I'll start with you. How are you, mate?
All right, not buzzing after last night, consoling myself with my favourite beverage. So, Cornish orchards. But no, it was, a bit of a letdown, wasn't it, really? I'm sure we'll get into it. But no, it's looking forward to Saturday. Obviously, hopefully things will take a turn for the better.
Yeah, I much agree. Steve and Sid, how are you both?
Yeah, really well, thanks, Emma. Disappointing last night, as Paul mentioned, but ready and optimistic for Saturday's trip to QPR.
Excellent. And Tom, we hear you went to Coldplay last night, and you have a bit of stolen goods there in your bedroom. So out that you were meant to leave at the concert. Yes. So how are you? And did you enjoy Coldplay and have a good time?
Yes, I got told to choose between Cambridge away or Coldplay at Wembley. So I was like, okay, there's only one place I'm going. But no, it was unbelievable, to be fair. It was a quality show. I mean, not often you get to see Coldplay for free either. So I was very, very lucky with that. And it seems I didn't miss much at Cambridge. So, very happy. And hopefully, as I say, we can bounce back on Saturday.
No kiss cam then, Tom, this time?
No.
Yeah, he got caught cheating on Charlton with a Millwall shirt on.
Yeah.
Never.
He has got some rascal glasses though, haven't you, Tom? I think you should show us them and model them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Come on.
So there you go. And Tyler, firstly, what an amazing job you did on Sunday. So a massive thank you for taking my place and even getting a £10 tip as well. So if anyone wants to tip me, that'd be really nice. I've only been keeping the show going just over a season, But no, seriously, amazing job you did. Thank you for stepping in at short notice. And how are you, mate?
Yeah, all that work, and I'm relegated right back down to the bottom corner again.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Thanks everyone for the kind comments as well on it. It was really good. Was quite nervous doing it at first, but I think it went smoothly. And to get that £10 super chat was a bonus. Echo thoughts with everyone else turns about the game. Disappointing, but focus on the League FC strike again, and let's move on to Saturday.
Yeah, and obviously tonight we're going to talk about last night's, I don't even know how to describe it, disaster class at Cambridge. We'll be joined by Michael, who is a season ticket holder at QPR, to tell us all about QPR ahead of Saturday's big game. And obviously we will be reviewing team selection and score predictions, ahead of Saturday's big game. So we will say good evening to a few people in the chat. So we've got CAFC fan hubs first in there. Hello, children. I love it when I get called a child. It's great. So disappointed against Cambridge, but we need to focus on the league. So maybe for the best we lose. Robert's in there. Good evening. He's disappointed with last night's performance. Did we send the wrong Mitchell out on loan? We will be talking about that. Tom will be going through maybe who he thinks we're missing and who should be going out on loan. Good evening to Tracy, who said she's looking forward to Saturday and disappointed with last night. Chris, good evening to you, who's also disappointed with the performance last night and has said there's too many changes in the starting lineup. Charlton on tour, good evening. Good evening to Mark, who said he went last night, and to be honest, the result wasn't the issue. It was how poorly the likes of Macca, JRC, Kelman and Nibs played. And Laffy was bright, as was Fuller. Yeah, that Isaiah Fuller, that new signing. Cracking little player. Jack's in there, good evening. And we had Kai Insulin as well. So we've got the local Charlton diabetic as well. Yeah, so the commentator had a bit of a nightmare there. Good evening to Chris. Good evening to Glenn, who said it was pants on Tuesday. Good evening to Kimmy, who said hindsight is a great thing, but too much youth last night. Chris again said concentrate on the league. Jack's life is in there. Good evening. CAFC fan hub said picking music over football, Tom, game's gone. And Mark said again that performance last night on Coldplay's music, don't know what was more miserable. Chris is in there. Chris has told me to stop bloody drinking. Oh, my mouth's a bit dry. I can't. He has got a bit of rhubarb and custard vodka in it. Leave me alone. Good evening to Michael. Good evening to Chris. Good evening to David. Good evening to Ray. And Charlie has said, obviously, good evening, Charlie. And Fuller is our future unreal talent. That will be Ibrahim Fuller. I don't know who this Isaiah Fuller is. I think we had a bit of a ringer.
Twin.
So I'm going to come to Paul first tonight. So give me your obviously. In fact, before I come to you, I'm just going to run through the lineup from last night in case anyone has forgotten. So we obviously lined up with Ash in goal, Josh Lack. I'm not going to say surname because I can't say it, but you know what I mean. Zach Mitchell, Macaulay Gillespie, Harvey Nibbs, Joe Rankin Costello, Karoy Anderson, Ollie Hobden, Ibrahim Fuller, Tanto Alafi and Charlie Kelman. So at first, Paul, I didn't think that was a bad lineup. I thought maybe it had the right mix of youth and experience in there. How wrong I was. So, give me your overall assessment of the game last night.
Well, when you see a manager making 11 changes, I mean, we talked the other day about maybe 4 or 5. But when you see a manager making 11 changes, I guess you have to ask yourself, how seriously is he taking this? Yeah, you're right. Looking at the lineup man for man, you would think that certainly 7 or 8 of them would have the measure of a third tier side. A 4th tier side, you know what I mean? So yeah, but it was a bit of a horror show, wasn't it? I don't think that the senior pros really stepped up at the time. I was disappointed with Zach, I think, as was quite a few. He got caught side on, I think, for certainly one of the guys got pushed away with ease by the Cambridge striker. So it just wasn't great. I mean, Joe Rankin Costello came. I was looking for things for him. His dead ball play was pretty awful, let's be honest. He couldn't beat the first man, I think, at every corner he took. I mean, Ollie Hobden, I think was it his full debut? I mean, he's not even got anything on FOTMOB, so that tells you how sort of new he is to the first team setup. And obviously, as you know, I'm lost without FOTMOB. So. But no, I think it was just, I mean, it wasn't like Cambridge had their first 11 out either, was it? They'd rested various people. Obviously Liam Bennett came off the bench at one point. The young Hoddle was on the bench for, I think, the entire game. So, I mean, it's not like they put their first 11 out. And I just thought, I guess the problem is when you're putting a brand new lineup out that's not played together, you're going to be disjointed. I'm sure that 11 have never played a game together at all in their lives, even in training. So you're asking for issues just for them almost to rock up and turn up. But as you said, that said, most of those players, in fact, a number of those players have got plenty of first team appearances. Ibrahim Fuller was excellent. He really stood out. We'll talk about how, I'm sure, later on. But other than that, I mean, Josh Lekreta-Bur, I've seen him before. He's played really well, actually. I don't think he had an awful game. But you could tell that Harris had looked at our right-hand side and said, yeah, we're going to go for that. And guess what he did? Straight away from the off, pretty much. Sort of targeted them. So it was, I was disappointed that actually, when Ibrahim Fuller scored, I thought, oh, here we go. We're going to come back. But actually, we didn't really threaten them until actually we were 3-1 down, and we had 2 or 3 good chances towards the end. But it was, cliche for too little, too late. It was really disappointing. And obviously, after the match, the manager was showing his disappointment and talking again. We'll talk about recruits needing players in, but it's like, well, you complained about your defence, but what did you do with Alex Mitchell? Alex Mitchell would have probably revelled in that sort of atmosphere. He would have taken the game by the scruff of the neck. After those first 2 goals and said, right, let's rally the troops. Let's get our heads down and get our heads together. And we've complained in the past, and sorry, I'm going on, but
you're fine.
Rant. We've talked in previous years about, where are the leaders? Where are our leaders? Now, when our first team goes out there on Saturday, we know we've got leaders all over the pitch, but I couldn't see anyone. I mean, Karoy tried to lead from the front. He's unlucky to get sent off, but I mean, even Charlie and Tanto didn't have, I don't think, the best of games. And I do think it's sometimes difficult when you go to these grounds where it's a cup competition. It's difficult to get yourself up, but you're a professional player. You need to do that. And as I say, you're playing at what is now a fourth tier side. It's just, you need to, you're 2 divisions above, and you need to show that. And I don't think we ever dominated. And I think actually, they won with relative ease, and that's just not good enough. As I say, we had, Ollie Hobton, but other than that, every single player on that pitch had played, and actually I think played some league games or more than a few. So whether for our club or for other clubs, and it was pretty shambolic for the most part. As I say, we had some, we could have probably equalised towards the end, but we shouldn't be sort of worrying about sort of 85th, 90th minute comebacks. It's all about controlling the game, and it just was a pretty poor show all round. And I think I feel particularly sorry for the fans that went up there. I know obviously Charlie Brazilians and others tweeted they spent good money to basically be insulted by that. I mean, I'd argue the lineup itself was insulting, really. 3 or 4 or 5 changes fine, but wholesale changes, and you kind of know what you're going to get, don't you? Really, when, as I say, those players haven't played together, it's kind of a makeshift lineup, with some, dotted with some decent players. But as I say, if you're going to put 11 essentially strangers or players that haven't played together in a cohesive unit, then you're kind of asking for trouble. So it makes me wonder whether Nathan was all that serious. And as I say again, I think you owe it to the fans that have travelled. I think it was nearly 800. That's a fantastic turnout for a Carabao Cup on a Tuesday evening. So fair play to all of them. And I bet most of them were pretty grumpy going home. So as I say, they have my sympathy.
Yeah, I think you've made some really good points there, Paul. And Sid and Steve, I'll come to you because I want to talk about some of the players that played last night. And I think the biggest disappointment for me is how little we created, really. It said we had a lot of shots, but, not much of it was good. And I think more so the midfield 3 is what I want to talk to you about, because we had Harvey Nibbs there, who should be doing a lot better, and Joe Rankin Costello, who's come with plenty of experience from Blackburn, and Karoy. But I actually agree with what Paul has said there. I think Rankin Costello was absolutely useless. And I think I've said before on this pod that I don't really get what he's all about, and I don't get what his position is in this squad. So what did you make of those midfield performances? And would you have expected us to create a lot more with that midfield 3, especially?
Yeah, it was a tough watch. A bit more than uninspiring as well, to be honest with you, and ultimately a really big opportunity missed, I think. But in regards to those 3, I think we needed at least one in there that just needed to either grab the game by the scruff of the neck or control the game. And I don't think any of the 3 did any of that, to be honest with you. I think it might have been a little scenario of underestimating what we had in front of us, because there didn't look like there was any sort of big urgency from any of those 3. And I think ultimately you're talking about 3 lads there that probably in their heads are expecting to play Championship football at the moment. They want to get in. Nibbs wants to play. Rankin Costello's joined from Blackburn as an established Championship player. But maybe on last night's performance, but either they were a little bit off it, they underestimated the opposition, or they were just part of a bigger picture where the team just didn't turn up and play or give us what we expected as fans last night. I think Ray made a really good comment in the chat there about the bench and the midfield situation is one of those that's relevant to that. If Nathan was going to change it last night, which he ultimately did, it might have been a little bit safer to add some established quality on the bench, certainly in the midfield and the forward areas. So, you can imagine last night if we had Coventry on the bench, or we had a commanding figure that we could have brought on in the midfield last night, it could have been a completely different game, even from say half time onwards. But yeah, the personnel were there that he had in the personnel, and then in regards to the changes that we made, I just don't think from that position we ever really controlled the game, and ultimately that's what cost you in these games, isn't it? You lose, and that's what happens.
Yeah, I actually think as well, Sid, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I actually think the youth players that came on in that midfield, so your Alan Mwamba, your Henry Ryler, I thought, they were outstanding when they came on, in all fairness to them. And I actually think they put in better performances than the pros that had started. So what did you think, of the academy lads in general last night, Sid?
Yeah, I thought most of them were quite good, to be honest. But you're looking at the experienced players like Harvey and Joe Rankin Costello and Karoy, and you're looking at them thinking, surely they've got to bring some light into the game. But they didn't really, and I was expecting a lot more from them. But the academy players that did come in, I thought the game got more energetic when they came on. And I thought that they actually did quite good in comparison to our actual experienced players.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought we actually shone a bit better with the young academy lads on than we did with the experienced pros, which says it all really. But Tyler, I'm going to come to you because I've got a couple of things for you. So firstly, I want to talk about Ibrahim Fuller. What a talent. And, I literally felt like punching the commentator through the TV if he kept going on about clubs looking at him. I thought, mate, shut up, for God's sake. So, how big is this lad's future at this football club? And should we be slapping a massive price tag on him?
Yeah, I don't know where Sky Sports get those commentators from for all the games, to be honest. The amount of mistakes I've heard them pull out since Sky Sports Plus got introduced is ridiculous. Anyway, Ibrahim Fuller, not Isaiah Fuller. He's been immense, to be honest, since coming into the team. And it's been, I think, since I saw him when he come off the bench against Burton last game of last season, I was like, wow. Right, his first touch of the ball when he's hit the crossbar from outside the box, I was like, this kid's got confidence. And he oozed that in pre-season and as well in the first round of the Carabao Cup against Stevenage. He scored there as well. He looked comfortable against the opposition that he was playing against. And against Cambridge, to be honest, I thought he was our best player. He was our best attacking outlet. He looked to drive the ball forward in the wing-back area and cut inside. And his goal was obviously a great strike, fantastic effort. And I'm excited by him. I don't know whether a championship is too soon for him, but the fact that he's still in and around the squad, I mean, he was on the bench against Leicester, so Jones has clearly got a plan for him. So if he is part of the plans, and the likes of Rankin Costello and Karoy and Nibs, they didn't play very well yesterday, and some of them are still getting up to speed. He's perhaps knocking on the door over them to be coming off the bench in certain games, you could maybe argue. So I'm excited by him. He's still obviously raw. We've got to be patient with him. He's only 18, so, we can't, rate him too highly and, put too high of a ceiling on him because, he's still a young lad and he's got a lot of pressure on him. But at the moment, as I said, he's oozing confidence. He's taken advantage of the opportunity that Jones has given him. He clearly likes him. And we'll see where it goes. And hopefully there aren't any clubs coming knocking on him because, he's only played a few games for us. So we'll wait and see. But, yeah, I'm excited by him, that's for sure. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this season because he is a serious talent.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to talk to you about, obviously after the game, I was quite shocked by Nathan Jones's interview. Now, I don't know why I'm shocked because, if you know me, I don't have the highest opinion of Nathan Jones anyway. I do think he's a bit strange. But again, it's like, I've never lost to Cambridge. I'm embarrassed. It seems like he makes it all about him all the time. And, there wasn't really any praise for the youngsters who've been put in that situation. Someone's put in the chat that 4 of those players that were on the bench actually played for the under-21s earlier in the day. So you're asking these kids, not only if they already played once, but you're asking these kids to come and play again in the evening. There was no real praise. I don't know if you watched his interview after the game, but there was, again, no real praise for those academy players. He made that interview all about him again, and, with his stupid comments. And the thing for me is I'm concerned now how that spirit is going to run into those academy players, that impact, what that's going to have on their confidence. So, what's your thought?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the interview. To be honest, after the game, I felt that was enough Charlton for one night, so that'll do me. And go to bed and recopulate my thoughts in the morning. I'm not. I mean, the way I look at it, I don't. He obviously wanted to win the game. He hates losing. Every manager hates losing, but I think that he set that team up expecting to win the game. And on paper, really, if you think about it, we probably should have done on paper, looking at the players that are in that squad. But then if you properly dissect it, that 11 probably hasn't played together. Some of them are still getting up to speed, the likes of Kelman and Rankin Costello. And, a couple of Ollie Hobden made his debut and got torn to shreds, basically. And Lacquerate Bird, I think, had a great game. Zach Mitchell was appalling, in my opinion. And then, you say there about the academy players. I mean, I didn't know that they played earlier in the day as well. So that's already a big ask. And the fact is, I felt a couple of them, again, I don't think they were amazing, and they're still raw talents, but at least they put the effort in compared to the senior players that were on there, and they looked to create something. The likes of Ryler, who was driving forward, Enslin putting balls in the box, and Beak winning headers in the box, and Mwamba as well driving the ball forward, even though I felt he lost possession a couple of times, 2 minutes too often. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just down to disappointment for Jones. Like I said, he didn't set that team up expecting to lose. He set that team up thinking that would be enough to win the game, and ultimately, he's put a weaker team out because he's resting the first teamers. We're not really going to care about the Carabao Cup because, let's face it, we ain't going to win it, are we? So I know it's nice to have a cup run, but that is what it is. But yeah, I don't know what to make about that, to be honest. I mean, it would have been nice to praise the academy players and that, but ultimately that performance was poor, and you have to call that out. And some of the senior players didn't step up, but at the same time, you make 11 changes. You're playing academy players who'd already played before. They're a bit raw, and they're knackered already from playing earlier in the day. What do you expect, sort of thing? So I think there's both ways of looking at it. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm not massively fussed that we're out of the cup, to be honest. I'm more concentrated on the championship and staying up, to be honest. And I think that's probably what he is too, judging by that lineup.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Tom. Before I come to you to talk about the loan up, Sid and Steve, I'm going to come back to you because there's been a couple of interesting comments in the chat, and one is the absence of Luke Berry. Now, as far as I'm aware, Bez is fit. So I've heard some rumours, and I'm sorry, Chris, because I know you're in the chat, but I've heard some rumours that he's potentially going back to Luton on loan. But could we have done with him last night? And Reece Burke as well. Now, I'm going to talk to Tom about squad depth, but I think it's shown really that we don't have a lot of squad depth, and it is quite concerning if we get injuries, we're going to be, to put it nicely, up shit creek without a paddle.
Yeah, I think Burke was one of the ones that I certainly was looking forward to seeing. I know the Luton fans were very disappointed about losing him, but the caveat in that was that the guy's potentially made of glass. A lot of players said that he'll get injured quickly, and he did, and it just seemed we saw him for a couple of little snapshots in a couple of the pre-season friendlies, and to be fair, he looked good, and I think he'll probably end up long term, if he can stay fit, being a good signing. But yeah, in regards to Berry, it's a strange one. The game was probably crying out last night for some creativity, someone to hold on to the ball, slip a little through ball in, maybe get Kelman in the game more. But yeah, we kind of was lacking that, and that we may have been looking from Nibs, but for whatever reason it didn't work out. But it is a strange one, and if that is the case, and he's not getting the minutes, it may be something that he's engineered himself. He's not getting any younger, and if he's on the periphery, if he's not on the periphery, he's probably going to want a situation where he does go. But that doesn't solve anything for us. It just means we lose another body, another creative body, and someone that can potentially on his day come on and make a difference in any game, not just a League One or a Championship game. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one develops.
Yeah, no, I agree. Tom, I'm going to come to you. In fact, before I do, I'm just going to keep you waiting 10 seconds longer. I've just got a message for Tanto. Please put your hair back as it was, because I didn't realise you were playing last night with the throw out. I was like, what the hell is going on with your barnet? 1 minute I look at you and you've got cornrows, and then you've got the throw out. I love the throw, but no, go back to where it was before, because I didn't recognise you. Tom, I'm going to obviously come to you now. Sorry to keep you waiting. Zach Mitchell. Now, he had, I think Tyler's been nice there, about him. Not really, but I think he's very honest. And that's kind of, I love Zach, and I think the loan at Ross County did him the world of good last season. Mm-hmm. Would he have been the player I would have sent out on loan this season? Yes, to gain more experience. He had an absolute mare last night. He was shocking. Let's be honest. And he's probably, along with Macca, your most senior, one of you. You'd class him as a senior player now because he's had minutes, plenty of them. Did we send the wrong Mitchell out on loan?
I think so, yes. I was saying from the start, I think Alex, from the start of the season and pre-season, Alex was sort of in that Lloyd role, like that area, because obviously we know Lloyd is unfortunately not going to make the entire season. He's going to get injured at some point, and I thought Alex was going to be that sort of one to come in for him there, which I would have been happy for, because one he can make the step up, I think, as well. yeah, Zach, I think a lot of us have been saying for a while that he does need another loan. Like he's almost there, but like there's something missing. And I just feel like maybe like a League One loan potentially, like a mid-table League One, something like that. But yeah, I mean, as you say, he's sort of the senior thing now. Like I'm looking at the lineup there. There's maybe 4 or 5 senior players I can probably think of in that team right now. But yeah, I mean, Josh Lack, I'm not gonna say his last name again, but obviously he's not a centre back as well, which obviously is going to be hard for him to have a good game there. But obviously he didn't have a great game either. I'd probably send him out on loan, maybe to like a League Two, National League potentially. There's a few players in there as well, maybe. No, it'll be interesting because obviously we've already sent a lot out on loan already, which we're not used to sending that this many out, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, Hobden I think was kind of maybe thrown into the deep end a little bit potentially because he didn't do too much again. I think he potentially was in the team earlier in the day as well. I'm not too sure on that. I didn't see the lineup. But yeah, there's a few players on there that, well, I mean, there's about 4 or 5 on there that I can see going out on loan soon. But the question is, who the hell do we bring in? Because if we get injuries like we did last time in the Championship, we're screwed. And we don't want to be bringing kids in again like we did last time. Obviously, if your thing is right and Berry's leaving, that's not ideal. I'd have rathered him start over probably Rankin last night, maybe, just to bring that experience in as well. Because, I mean, he's got that experience to kind of guide the team, I guess. But no, it's an interesting one. Zach for me, I think needs a loan ASAP. But yeah, I think we did send the wrong at Charlton because Plymouth fans already love him. I know they obviously lost the other day, whatever, but they've said their back line has been improved immensely. Like he's a no-nonsense centre back. He's playing in that centre role, if you like, for them as well, which obviously he would have played if he was here.
And he's playing with Brendan Weirdo as well.
Exactly, yeah. Which, yeah, I mean, obviously I talked to a lot of Plymouth fans and they said they absolutely love him. Oh my gosh, sorry, Grimsby are beating United 2-0 at the moment, which is wild. But no, it's an interesting one. Obviously Zach, I think Alex has got 2 years after this loan, I think. So there is an argument where he could be being sent out loan just to maybe come back next year because he's what, 24, I think. And if you think about it, we've got, I think, 4 centre backs coming up to 30 or over 30 now. So there's obviously room for him to come into the team, but it's obviously whatever Nathan Jones wants, I guess. It's an interesting one, as I say, but it'll be interesting to see if we bring anyone else in as well in that area, because I feel like the back line is where we lack depth the most, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly come back to Paul. Will be a quick one, but to going back onto squad depth, Paul, I am a little bit concerned after last night's performance with our squad depth. Have we sent probably better players out on loan than we have maybe in backups in the squad? The likes of Terry Taylor, everyone knows I'm a big fan, but Alex Mitchell, Dan Carnu, have we sent better players out on loan? It seems like we're heavily stacked in some areas, but we're not in others. Like up front, it feels like we've got a lot of options. Midfield, have we got the good enough backups? But defence, we do look massively lacking. Are you a little bit concerned with some of the squad depth in areas?
Well, I'd say to everyone, try and ignore last night. It's not. It was a bad day at the office. In terms of have we sent people out, better players out? Yeah, I mean, possibly, as Tom said, maybe Alex could have done with staying. Is Dan Carnu? Does Dan give us? I love Dan, obviously, and I love Terry as well. But do they give us more than what we've already got? I think that's the question you need to ask yourself. And I say probably not. I think we do need, strength in defence because now that Alex has gone, I mean, I'd be interested to see it. I hope that Zach's confidence hasn't taken too much of a knock. I saw him play a few games for St Johnstone last year, I think 3 or 4 games, and he put himself about. He got stuck in. No way was he pushed about like he was last night in any measure at all. And he was playing some pretty bulky lads, put it that way, and some very speedy ones. And he coped really, really well. And they loved him up at McDermott Park. So, as I say, I just think that, I mean, I do think there was an element of complacency with it. I'm probably not as alarmed as others, but certainly I think, we may be 1 or 2 injuries away from, being sort of on our uppers, certainly on the defensive side. As the midfield, we've already talked about it. I mean, Ibby Fuller was exceptional. He just took that game. I mean, that goal was just out of this world. It's just like, here we go. I'm here to play. I know what I can do. I've seen some of his stuff on TikTok when he was a kid. He's absolutely incredible control. He's got so much confidence. I mean, he kind of stands alone, really, despite his tender years. I think Joe Rankin Costello didn't do himself any favours, but I think he needs to be played in position. I think he was more of a left back. I think that he played better at, or was it right back? Sorry, forgive my ignorance. But he played better sort of in defence than he did it as a creative midfielder, really. Okay. So I think he was probably played out of position. So I'd expect to see more from him. I'm sure he'll be disappointed with himself. Karoy, we love Karoy again, but as I say, I don't know whether he's a starter. He's probably more impactful off the bench. We've said that many times on this podcast. So yeah, I think certainly defensively, the gaffer was talking about maybe getting some defensive reinforcements in. As I say, he did himself no favours by sending Alex away. As others have said, Alex is no nonsense. He probably would have just loved that game last night. He just got stuck in. So I think we may miss Alex unless we can get a couple of decent quality defenders in the next week or so. Because the defence was the bulwark of our success last season, wasn't it? As we know. The season before, it was kind of Lloyd against the rest because of the quality or the poor quality of those around him. We don't want to get in that situation again at all this season because it's going to put us back. Because even if we have, Charlie finds his good scoring touch and Tanto likewise, we have Tanto time every week. They can be banging the goals in up front. If we're starting to concede a load, then it's going to be 1 step forward and 2 steps back. So I think certainly if we are going to strengthen, we do need to sort of shore up the defence. I think we've probably got enough in other areas. I think we had a pretty decent window. I think it's just players like Harvey, for example, taking time to get into his stride, which I'm sure he will. At whatever point Charlie comes on Saturday, I'm sure that's going to spur him on. Tanto, there's so much.
Can I cut you short? Sorry, because I've got to guess waiting. And I did say to you, keep it short. You're going on a tirade again. It's all right. Right. I'm going to welcome our QPR fan into the chat. So we've joined by Mike, who is a QPR season ticket holder. Welcome to the Charlton Chronicles, Mike. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How's everyone? All good?
Yeah, we're all good. A little bit disappointed. Well, when I say disappointed, we're a bit baffled by last night's dreadful performance against Cambridge. You've probably heard us ranting there, but yeah. So obviously we're looking. Sorry, go on. You were going to say?
No. I just wanted to ask, how's Charlie Kelman getting on?
We will talk to you about Kelman. Okay. I'm sure, but I want to sort of get some info about QPR from you. Obviously, you've had a really good summer, and some of the players that you've signed, in my opinion, are exceptional. Richard Kone, although I don't know if he's managed to find his way out of Lloyd Jones's back pocket yet. Karamoko Dembele, who I only sort of watched at Blackpool, a couple of seasons ago, and was exceptional. So what a player! And I didn't actually realise you guys had signed him. Kwame Poku, another exceptional talent from Peterborough. And then I've just seen, I'm probably not going to say this right, but is it Koki Saito? Is your latest signing. So, how are you feeling after your summer window, and what were your expectations going into the season?
I think on paper the window we've had has been good. I mean, the season before last we went and signed majority of players from foreign leagues, whereas this year we've we've signed a lot more players who have played in this country before, and sort of cherry picked the best players in the division below, which is what Rangers have always sort of had a history of doing. So on paper, we've signed some really good, exciting players like Kone and the lad from Peterborough, Poku. But it's just trying to get them all into a system and trying to get the best out of them. That's the trouble we're finding at the minute.
Yeah, and obviously, you're coming into this game off probably one of your biggest ever defeats up at Coventry, and
yeah.
How's kind of the fan base feeling after that? I mean, bless one. I see one of your academy lads actually went over to the fans at the end of the game, and I thought, what an incredible young lad to go and do that when your captain and your manager have basically buggered off down the tunnel. And I had a lot of respect for him at that moment going over, and I respect any player that will come and speak to the fans, especially when you've had such a big loss. So, how's the fan base kind of feeling after that?
I think everyone's still in shock, to be honest with you. I mean, I had the scores coming in, and it was 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, and I think everyone's just in shock. And it's a big game Saturday for us. We need to bounce back and put a performance in. It's a must not lose game for us, really. But we seem to have the same thing every year, where we have this sort of like philosophy of trying to play out from the back and play through midfield, but we don't really have the players to do it. And the summer recruitment, even though the summer recruitment has been very good, we haven't gone out and signed 2 fullbacks who can handle the ball. We haven't gone out and signed, a Grimes like Coventry have got, or a Barry Browning like what Wednesday have got. So this is the trouble Rangers always have. We have all these ideas about playing out from the back and this sort of thing, but I think the manager soon realises that we don't have the players to do it. So we end up going a little bit more direct and a little bit more physical and tough to beat, and maybe that's the way we might go, moving forward. But big game Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to ask these guys if they've got any questions for you, which I'm sure they have. Paul, I'll start with you. Have you got a question for Mike?
Yeah, Mike, thanks for coming on. Jimmy Dunn, the last time I saw was getting pelters from the fans. I know he got booked. I think got pulled off early on Saturday. How's he generally been doing? Is he sort of disappointing you?
Nah, you know what you're going to get from Jimmy Dunn. He's been made the captain this year. He seems to have a real good connection with the club and the fans. So, listen, Jimmy Dunn, he's not going to, be getting the ball on the half turn and pinging balls everywhere. He's a solid, reliable centre half, really. But he got moved to right back. Similar to what I was saying just a minute ago about, we seem to change philosophies where we soon realise we don't have the players to play out from the back. So Jimmy Dunn got moved to right back last year. And he's a good player. I mean, I don't think anyone would have thought that he would have signed a new deal and stayed with us. So that, going back to the recruitment as well, that was a big plus that he signed a new deal with us. And he's a good player. He's a steady Eddie. Never seems to have a bad game. So I don't think any Rangers fan would have a bad word to say about Jimmy Dunn, to be honest with you.
I've seen on the forum one or two fans had certainly said something negative. I wasn't sure if that was just a general thing, but clearly from what you're saying, that certainly isn't. It may just be one or two.
I mean, I think if that's just because of Saturday, I think every player probably got a bit of stick. So he wouldn't be the only one Saturday.
Yeah, I think I'd be in the pub necking quite a few vodkas if I was a QPR fan on Saturday, to be fair. We know what it's like, Mike. Supporting Charlton ain't been easy over the years, so we know what it's like, mate. Tyler, have you got a question for Mike?
Be nice, Tyler.
He will.
Apologies if anyone was going to ask about him, but I'll be the one to ask about Charlie Kelman, because we're in a bit of a difficult spot with him at the moment. I think when we signed him off you guys, I think a lot of your fans were thinking that you'd pulled our pants down, seeing as we'd spent 3.5 million rising to 5 million, and considering that he hasn't really been proven at the Championship, obviously smashed it for Leyton Orient last season. And I was excited when he came in. I still am now, to be fair, but I think he's just in a position now where he hasn't really had a pre-season with us. He's not really integrated into our team, and I don't really know if he suits our system at the moment. I'm not sure whether it's a he problem or our system problem. So I just wanted to ask what sort of went wrong for Kelman at QPR? Why he never really stuck it at the Championship? And do you think he could do it at this level, considering his record in League One?
Yeah, I think at Rangers he was never ever given the opportunity, and even though he had a really good season last year with Orient and obviously got loads of goals, I think he's one of them players where if you give him service and you get crosses in the box and you can slip him in one-on-one. I mean, Mark Warburton and Les Ferdinand said he was the best finisher at the club. So he's obviously got a bit about him and he's obviously a great finisher. But apart from that, I know, all you want is your strikers to score goals. But I think his overall play in terms of holding the ball up, running in behind, but just being that sort of nuisance striker, I don't think he's going to offer you that. But I think if you can give him chances, I think he'll get goals. But at Rangers, he was never given the opportunity. So and I think in the summer, I think Rangers looked at it and thought, well, he's got 1 year left on his contract. He doesn't want to sign a new deal. Charlton have offered, what was it, 3.5 million or something. So it's a good bit of business for us. But I think if Kone does well for us, and Kelman goes on to do okay for you lot, then it would be a great bit of business for us. But if Kelman goes on and scores 25 goals for you and Kone is a bit of a flop, then it's a bad move. So it's I hope he does well for you guys, but he was never really given a proper opportunity at Rangers. He was never given 5, 6, 7, 8 games in the first team. It was always bringing him on with 20 minutes to go, and I felt a bit sorry for him at times. But as I said, Les Ferdinand and Mark Warburton always used to say he's the best finisher at the club. So he's definitely highly rated. But yeah, just wasn't ever meant to be at Rangers, I don't think.
Yeah, I think if I can quickly say as well, I think obviously having watched Richard Kone last season, we obviously played him twice in the playoffs, twice in the league. And obviously watching Charlie Kelman last season, I think Charlie Kelman is the much better striker out the two. And I'm not just saying that because obviously he now plays for us, but Kone, he really dwindled off towards the last sort of bit of the season, sort of after Christmas. I think if you look back at his goal scoring record after Christmas, he really faded off. Whereas Kelman just kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
But obviously he'd really found his feet at Orient. Hopefully he can find his feet with us. He's had a little bit of stick off the fans, which isn't great already. But, these guys know, we've spoken about it, that Matty Godden and Alfie May both took their time to get going. And look at them. They both had fantastic seasons with us. So hopefully, we keep the faith in him and we keep going. And hopefully Kone will have a good season for you, just not on Saturday. Stephen Sid, I'll come to you. Have you got a good question for Mike?
Yeah, Mike, good to meet you, mate.
And you.
I know you guys have potentially, from probably your perspective as QPR fans, have had a couple of difficult seasons, probably not expected finishes of where you might well have done at the start of the season. But what were your realistic expectations for this season going into it? And on the back of that, have things changed given the start that you have made?
I mean, me personally, when we started to sign the likes of Poku and Mbenge, and Dunn signed a new deal, and with the players you've signed as well more recently, I think if we could finish in the top 12, that would be a great season for us. Obviously, we've got off to a bit of a poor start, or a very poor start. So I still think you've got 4 or 5 really good teams in that league, and the rest of them are much of a muchness. So I think the thing with us, we need to get everyone fit and available, get his best team out, and I would like to think we could still maybe get in the top half of the table. I think that would be a good season for us.
Good to know.
Yeah, Sid, have you got one?
Yeah. So, Mike, obviously, QPR signed Richard Kone this season, and unfortunate for you guys that you lost, but I mean, he's still got on the score sheet. So how do you think he's going to do this season? What are your kind of expectations for him?
I think he's going to get a hat-trick Saturday to begin with. I think if he could get anything 15 goals plus, I think that would be a great return, because we've not had a striker probably since Charlie Austin who's sort of scored a good amount of goals for us. So that's one thing we've lacked for a long, long time now, is someone who can just put the ball in the back of the net. So hopefully if he could get 15, 16, 17 goals, that would be a good return from, you know, in his first season for us.
Cool.
Yeah, and Tom, have I saved the best for last? Go for it, mate.
Well, obviously, I like to have a look at former Charlton players who have played for other clubs. You have two of them, Paul Smith and Sam Field. How are they doing? Because I think Sam Field did all right in the Championship season, and Paul Smith ended up right wing back for us at one point. So how are they doing?
Yeah, Field similar to Dunn. You know, he's a steady Eddie. He's always going to give you a 6 out of 10. I think that the trouble with Field is that, you know, as I said earlier, we're trying to play this expansive style of football and playing out from the back, and Field isn't really that sort of player. You know, Field's you know, sit in front of the back four, keep it tight, win your tackles, win your headers, and so he does get a little bit of stick, Field, because he does lack that sort of taking the ball on the half turn and sort of getting us going, moving forward. But I personally like Field. I think he's a good player. You know, a couple of years ago he got Player of the Year. Never really lets us down. He can play centre half, centre midfield. So yeah, he's a good Championship player. Little Smith, again, you know what you're going to get from him. He's 100 miles an hour. He works hard up and down. Lacks a bit of quality of his final sort of product, but again, players like that, I would never really have a bad word to say about them, because they're always going to give you everything. They work hard. And Smith's the sort of player that I would absolutely love to. I'd love it if he'd done well at Rangers, because he's just got that sort of infectious personality, and you can tell he loves playing for QPR, but he just lacks that little bit of quality at times. But yeah, two players who give everything for us, and yeah, sort of fans' favourites. I'd say, yeah.
Yeah. I've just got a couple more questions for you, Mike, and then I'm going to let you go. So I've got one in the chat. It's like, what's the reason behind the kit change? Always known QPR for the blue and white hoops.
We're still in blue and white hoops.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's my boss. That's my boss, by the way. That is.
that might be a Reading fan who said that.
We'll ignore that then. I don't even look at the kits, to be honest.
It might be the away kit, because that's half pink, half black, and that's not gone down too well.
That sounds rank, to be honest, but
yeah. Yeah, no, we're still in blue and white hoops. Don't worry.
There you go. I was going to say it would be very strange if you did change, but I just saw that and I thought I'd ask. Where is good for Charlton fans to drink on Saturday?
The main away pub is, if you come out of Shepherd's Bush Station. I can't remember the name of it. It's bang opposite the station, Shepherd's Bush, up by Westfields. That's always a popular pub for away fans. But I mean, Shepherd's Bush, it's got some great little pubs. So I personally like the Crown and Sceptre. It's tucked away in the side roads, but that's a lovely little pub. So that would be my recommendation.
I think I'm going to go to the Wetherspoons at Hammersmith, but we shall see. I always have to go to the Spoons, Mike. I'm a chav like that.
That's because you love a cheap pint. That's why.
Yeah, well, a cheap vodka. I don't know about a cheap pint. That's more my husband's game. And I know you're a season ticket holder. Now, I've just got to ask you about ticket prices, because we are being absolutely mugged on Saturday by QPR. 39 quid a ticket, right?
Yeah.
Now, Sheffield United have just released their away ticket prices. We are paying 25 quid. Yeah. Now, that is quite a difference. Why are the tickets so expensive for away fans at QPR?
Yeah, this question gets brought up every sort of fans forum. I think it's as blunt as, you know, the club want to try and generate as much money as they can, and that's why they charge what they charge. I don't agree with it. I mean, you know, I often see pictures from the away end, and you know, some of them can't even see the goal. So, so yeah, I mean, what is it? 39 quid, 38 quid?
Yeah, I mean 39, but I have got a gold seat, so you know, if I was going to do it, I was doing it in style. I ain't got the restricted view.
yeah. I think, as I said, I think the club do it purely to make money. And with FFP and all this sort of stuff at the minute, I think the club just try and find any way to make as much money as possible. And they look at it like, well, you know, if Charlton sell out, which I'm sure they will, then you know, if people are paying the money, they continue to charge it.
Yeah,
So,
it's madness, really, isn't it? You know, because it is getting more and more. I mean, even Orient last season, I think, were charging in the plus of 30 quid for that dump. So
yeah,
it's madness. But my final question to you is, what's going to be the score on Saturday then? Please be kind to us.
As I said, it's a big game for us. It's a must not lose game for us. We can't go into the international break with another defeat. So I expect there to be sort of 3 or 4 changes to our side. I think we'll come out sort of flying. I think it comes down, if we can get an early goal, then I think we could go on to win it. But I think the longer the game stays at 0-0 and the crowd get a little bit restless, and if we see Charlie Kelman coming on, I think that, you know, we can sort of see what's going to happen there. But I've got to be, I'll say 2-0 Rangers.
Okay, I think we're likely, in my opinion, to see Kelman start. So I don't think you'll be seeing him coming on. I think you're likely to see him starting for us Saturday. I'm hopeful anyway, because I'd love him to bang one in against you. So
yeah, I'm sure you would.
But listen, Mike, thanks for coming on, mate, and thanks for coming on at short notice as well.
Yeah, no worries, anytime.
I really appreciate it, and enjoy the game Saturday. And you know,
yeah, we'll do.
We might bump into you. You never know.
Yeah, I'll see you at the Spoons. Take care. All the best.
Good to meet you, Mike.
Take care.
Great guest. Oh, he's back. You meant to leave.
There we go.
He's on call.
No, great guest, as I'm sure you all agree, and some really good feedback there as well about QPR. So we are going to go straight into our lineups now. Obviously, this really is a game. You know, I was talking to Adam earlier, my husband, and he said, "I hope we go there and smash them. We've got to go in with a positive mindset for this weekend, and I think we need a win this weekend." So, what sort of lineups is everyone thinking? Is everyone thinking changes, or are we keeping the same, or
changes?
Yeah.
I'll come to you first, then, Tyler. What do you want to see from us this weekend?
Well, generally the first 11 in the Championship that has done really well. You know, the performance levels against, you know, Watford, Bristol City and Leicester have been very good. We've been in games. The only change I'd make, to be quite honest with you, I want to see Tanto start over TC. I know it's harsh on TC, and obviously he's been getting a lot of stick from the fan base. Some of it not good, some of it, to be honest, justified. I mean, what I'll say about TC, I mean, people questioning his mentality and him being lazy is absolutely ludicrous. It is absolutely ridiculous to question that, because he isn't, quite frankly. You know, he drives the ball forward. I've said it so many times. We know what he can offer in this team. The problem with TC is that he can drive the ball forward. He's got great technical ability. He's got great feet. But for a player who's played as many games as he has done, and the chances that he has created, doesn't score or provide enough goals. Yeah. And I question whether I am questioning, to be honest, whether the Championship is that big of a step. That's not me saying he's a bad player, because I don't think he is a bad player. I just think the Championship might be a little bit too much for him. And to be quite honest with you, the only combination up front that I've really liked the look of that could feed off each other and provide goals and assists for each other is Leeburn and Tanto. Because I know it was against Stevenage in the Cup, but they look like they've been playing with each other for months. You know, I think that they link up really well. They feed off each other. Leeburn can win the headers on, and Tanto can run in behind, but Leeburn's quick. Leeburn's got good feet as well. You know, he can run as well. So, I don't know. TC, I feel like we should potentially experiment bringing him off the bench. I think I said it in the last stream. You know, let the likes of Leeburn and Tanto batter their defence, and then TC can come on as a bit of a wild card, offer something different, and skill them up a little bit, and hopefully provide something. But that would be the only change for me. You know, the rest of it, you don't change the defence. You don't change Apter, you don't change Edwards. Carey's keeping Nibs out of the team. Doherty was phenomenal against Leicester. Coventry was our man of the match. You know, you don't really disrupt the rest of the team in that way. I just think we need something a bit more different up front and a little bit more of a threat. And I'd also like to see Charlie Kelman make a step on as well and come off the bench and hopefully rile up his former club. But obviously there's some concerns that need to be addressed with him, but I'm not massively worried just yet. But you know, as I said with Mike, I'm a little bit worried in terms of whether he fits his system. But yeah, only change for me, I want to see Tanto over TC.
Yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent, and I I just want to call out, please don't, abuse the players, and there's no sort of need for it. TC is an academy lad. He had a fantastic season for us last year. I think I agree with Tyler. He isn't maybe right. I don't think maybe. My problem with him is, again, with Tyler, he's not lazy. I don't agree with that at all. He works his arse off for the team. My issue with him is I find him a little bit greedy on the ball, and he doesn't tend to lay off as much. He always tries to shoot or whatever. And when you're playing in a strike partnership, that's not always the best way to go. So I think that's my criticism of him. But yeah, I probably agree. I love Tanto, so I want to see Tanto, but at the same time, I want to see Kelman because I want to see him stick his fingers up to the QPR fans. Stephen, Sid, any changes for you?
Exactly what Tyler said there. Yeah, I don't think any of us could have put it any better than that, to be honest with you. I think there's a comment there that Mark's made in the chat as well in regards to Tanto's goal outlet over the last couple of seasons against TCs. There's every chance that if Tanto and Leeburn do play on Saturday, it could, if they both click together, it could be a really difficult afternoon for the back four of QPR. But as I say, I think the rest of the team picks itself, and hopefully, if they can get an understanding from minute one, we can get a few goals and get the 3 points.
Yeah, Sid, is that the same for you? Would you just drop TC? Is that your only change?
Yeah, literally exactly what Tyler and Dad just said. But yeah, I don't. Obviously, this isn't like anything rude to Tyrese, but he's just not doing it at the moment, and I feel like he's just too easy to knock over or for someone to just like smash him. So yeah, I change him for Olafe definitely. But yeah, Doherty was brilliant. I mean, I felt that against Leicester, he did really put back in his place, seeing as though everyone was kind of a bit anxious about him, thinking, is he going to make it into the side? But he definitely did improve a lot, and that's good on him.
Yeah, look, I know me and you, Sid, were both a bit critical of him after Bristol City. I think we was a little bit critical. But yeah, again, he had a fantastic game against Leicester, and I love it when we give them a bit of negativity on here, they'll go on and smash it the next game. So maybe we need to slam TC and then he's going to go on and score a hat-trick on Saturday. You never know. But I could never slam TC. He's too lovely. Tom, now you're TC's number one fan, unofficial, because we don't know if he's christened you as his number one fan. But obviously it's got to hurt to see those comments about your boy. So what's your thoughts ahead of Saturday?
I mean, I think I said on Sunday maybe you do need to rest him a bit because I think it was like the 75th or 80th minute. He was cramping up to the maximum because all he does is run. He works his heart. He wears his heart on his sleeve all game, every game. And yeah, anyone saying he's lazy is a diabolical thing to say because you can see he wants to do after club. You can see he wants to stay and win things with this club. But yeah, I mean, obviously I love him and I'll always be pretty supportive. But I do think, yeah, bring him on 70th minute when they're tired and when he's active and when he's alive running, you ain't gonna catch him. I would play Tanto, yes, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Jones doesn't change the team at all, because it seems to be the team he kind of trusts now, I guess. I hope Leeburn has the same thing as he did in the first half against Leicester, because he was unbelievable then as well. But yeah, I would maybe not drop him like fully, but I'd say rest him because I feel like he's been getting a lot of daggers, and I feel like it might be affecting his confidence a little bit as well. Which obviously we saw. I think I said this many times, but against Gills in the FA Cup, you saw his confidence when he was getting daggers. Once he gets that, his confidence is gone. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I would bench him for this game, bring him on 60, 70 minutes when they're tired, and hopefully he scores as well. I mean, him and Kalman coming on off the bench could also work as well.
Yeah, I've just got a reply to Chris's comment in the chat. So everyone is forgetting Tanto was awful last night. I think everyone was awful last night, so I'm going to stick up for Tanto a bit here. And it's the hair change, I'm telling you. Go back to the cornrows, Tanto. It's the hair change. I didn't even know you was bloody playing until I saw 22, and I was like, oh, he's got a throw. Paul, I'll come to you. What's sort of your lineup changes? Do you agree with everyone else?
Well, I agree with what you said about Tanto there. I've got to say, as soon as I saw it, I thought we were doomed. But talking about Charlie starting, I mean, Jones has shown he's not sentimental. That's why he obviously put Miles in against Leicester. So, yeah, Charlie coming off the bench would be probably ideal, actually. And good luck to him. Tyler touched on the Tanto-Miles combination or tandem against Stevenage. And I think some of the best striking partnerships, they're almost telepathic. They don't need to have played with each other for months and years or whatever. And they clearly looked, very comfortable with each other for that particular game. I know it was only Stevenage, with respect. But certainly I'd be excited to see Tanto over TC. Yeah, TC absolutely doesn't deserve any penalty. He works so hard. It's just, what is his position? It's almost like he's a luxury player. Is he a striker? Well, clearly not. Is he providing lots of final balls for others to feed off? I'm not entirely sure he is, really. He's kind of in this sort of weird sort of no man's land as far as I'm concerned. Yes, he gets the ball up front, which we may need sometimes. We may need someone to carry the ball, particularly later in the game, if we need to waste a bit of time. But as others have said, he's probably better having a rest and coming off as an impact substitute. Obviously Jones trusts him, but I just don't think he's having the effect that maybe he had last season. And again, people have talked about a step up to Championship. Also, people have started to suss him out. He's no longer an unknown quantity, is he? People know all about Tyrese. He's been talked about a bit of being transferred to other teams, sort of higher up. So, as I say, I think he needs a rest. It would be good to see certainly Tanto time and certainly Lieber to start, I think, and maybe if need be, Charlie come off the bench and, as we said last week, stick a big middle finger up to the QPR fans when he scores the winner.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys agree, but for me, TC doesn't play more as a striker. He plays more as a wide man.
He seems to drift out more,
all the time. So it's like we're playing with one up front all the time, which is probably why we're not scoring many goals. So I think, we need to go big man, small man, but not Tyrese for this weekend. And I think, QPR are a very experienced side. I would go for a bit of strength and power. I think Miles can bully the defence. And then, from what I know of Tanto, from what I've been told by Stockport fans, is that he can run in behind. He's got the pace. He's got the power. So I think it could be the perfect combination for this Saturday. But Nathan Jones, if you are watching, that is the combination. So we will go into our score predictions. So drop your score predictions into the chat, guys, and I will read them out. Who am I going to come to first? Oh, who's looking optimistic? Tom. He's fucked.
Right.
Prediction.
Well, last time we was there, obviously Naby Sarr gave us one of the best limbs I've been involved in.
Limbs.
Yes. I do think we will draw. I think they'll want to come back after their diabolical performance against Coventry. We'll want to come back from the Leicester one. I'll go for a 1-1. I think. I think it'll be quite scrappy. Teams probably won't know what to kind of do after both teams have lost. Goal scorers. Kone will probably score from them. And yeah, you know what, Kelman and late on, he's going to stick the middle finger up because obviously I think the home fans are down the bottom as well, so it'll be perfect for him to score. 1-1 and come away with a happy point, I think.
Yeah, Sid, I'll come to you next.
I'm going to turn it around on what Mike said. I'm going to go 2-0 Charlton, and I'm going to go Kane Ramsey and Miles Lieburn.
Love that. Steve?
I'm going to go 2-1. I think it'll be a close game, and I think we we need to get in front. I think if we can get in front, it might dent their any sort of momentum or confidence that they've got. I fancy Tanto to score, but I also fancy Rob Apter to get a goal on Saturday as well. So hopefully he can get the winner.
Love that. Tyler?
I'm with Tom with the 1-1. I think it's probably the right time to play QPR because everyone's such a downer after Coventry, but they're going to be looking to come back fighting. Loftus Road ain't an easy place to go to and get points. And also, I'm slightly worried in terms of our creativity going forward and whether we're going to create the chances enough to score because we created a lot against Leicester but couldn't put them in the back of the net. So QPR won't make it easy. I'll take a point, to be honest, in the first London derby of the season. I fancy Leeburn for a goal. I think he's been knocking on the door since he's been in the team. I'll go with him to score.
Paul?
Well, my hashtag generally shite predictions are probably worth a rant, but I'll refrain. I hope this isn't the kiss of death, Emma, but I'm optimistic. So I'm going to say 2-1 to us with Tanto and Charlie to score the winner. So it's bound not to end that way. But anyway, that's my prediction.
I'm also going for a 2-1 Charlton. I'm going to go for a Kwame Poku goal for them. And I'm going to go for a Connor Coventry screamer. Come on, Ricey. I thought you bloody scored on Saturday.
That went in, man.
And then I'm going for a 90th minute winner from Charlie Kelman. And he's going to go up to the home fans and be like, rah. So, yeah. Up to Charlie Kelman. So,
yeah.
And he's going to do it to the Charlton fans that have been doubting him as well. So, we're going to read some out from the chat. So, we got Charlton Fan Hub, 2-1 Charlton, Leeburn, Kelman and Poku. Kimmy's heart says 1-0, head says 0-0. Margaret thinks it'll be a draw. She's put 12:30 kick-off again and 2 sad emojis. Tracy's gone for a 2-0 Charlton, Tanto and Leeburn. Jack has gone for a 1-0 Charlton, Lloyd Jones. Mark has gone for a 2-0 Tanto and Leeburn. That seems to be popular tonight. And Chris has also gone for a 2-0 Charlton, Leeburn and Lloyd Jones. So there's a lot of confidence there. So let's hope. Oh, and Tom is just in there as well with a 2-0 Charlton. So there's a lot of confidence in the chat. So I think if we can go out there, put the performance in that we put against Leicester, because we were a much better team. Let's face it, Leicester robbed us, really. For a team that's just come down from the Championship, I thought we absolutely dominated them. So hopefully we can go to QPR and we can do exactly the same. Michael has also gone for a 2-0 in the chat as well. But we are going to call it a day for tonight because I need to change my bed. So I need to go. There's an insight into my life. I have to change my bed at 9:10 at night when I've been in all day and not done it. So
can I just say quick?
Yeah.
Make sure you do follow the TikTok. We are approaching.
I was about to say that.
I'm part of it as well. No, we are approaching 150 followers on there, which is absolutely insane. After I think a week of setting up, obviously there's clips of the show on there. There'll be other different content that's not on the stream coming soon. Put it that way. These guys don't know what I've got planned yet, but yeah, there is a lot coming. Make sure you are following. We'll try to keep you up there with everything.
Excuse me, it's my podcast. You need to tell me what's coming. If you don't mind. Yeah, so make sure you do go and follow us on TikTok, guys. Tom is running that, but he will check with me before we post anything. We're also on Facebook and Instagram and X as well, so make sure you go and give us a like. There's Tom's dog saying hello to everybody. What's it called, Tom?
Teddy.
That's not a very Charlton name, is it?
We got him. We got him like 4.5 years ago. So,
but still have a Charlton name, Tom.
Yeah.
Change his name to Tanto.
I will do. Just for Teddy.
So if you are in and around the ground Saturday and you see any of our mugs, do come and say hello. I'll be there. I think Paul will be there.
Yeah.
Tom will be there. Stephen Sibb will be there. Tyler will not be there because he's got a terrible away record and we're banning him. So no, I'm only joking. We love you, Tyler. CAFC fan, I'll put in there that you need to call the dog Tyrese.
I could do.
Yeah, or TC.
Otherwise it wasn't there.
So, but thanks for watching, guys. Thanks to all these guys for being my crew as per usual. Thanks to Mike, who was our QPR fan that came on. And we will see you guys at QPR on Saturday, and we will see you Sunday night, usual time. And look out for the content on the TikTok as well. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.
Good night,
See you in a bit,
guys.
guys.
Thanks all.